What about Ramsdale?
Yeah, no.
Aaron Ramsdale they should this morning. They should get him into the training ground, give him a massage, sit him there, new contract, 3 brilliant saves.
What was it that you said when we were out there a minute ago? Isn't that their job? Were you doing a Roy Keane?
Roy Keane said that. But what I did say is, this is how football works. Don't get carried away with goalkeepers. They can play out. They can't. This is how football works. Good players at the back.
Yes.
Very good players in midfield.
Yeah.
Artists up the front.
No.
And the lad with no coordination at school, stick him in goals. Put him in goals.
Stop it.
That's how you end up in goals, because you can't play out.
Listen, you're going to upset the Goalkeepers Union this morning.
Good, they know.
Do they?
They know anyway, yeah.
If you are in the Goalkeepers Union and you'd like to call up and give Dino some abuse, 03717 22 3344. A goalkeeper's not respected enough. They're talented in their own right.
They're brave. That's what they are.
Oh,
brave.
They're brave? Why?
Bordering on, more than brave, bordering on stupid.
I knew you were going to say that. Stop. You're making it worse.
Who'd throw your face in front of a point blank shot? They don't flinch. We all flinch, don't we? They're braver than us.
Speaking of flinching or fleeching, we have a lot to discuss from that game, including a certain match official.
Oh, what? Andy Robertson.
Well, no, he's not the match official, but yeah. But that incident,
the elbow. Don't
that's
mess
the one that we're
with
talking
him.
about. Listen, he's a big boy, that one, isn't he?
Constantine.
Yeah.
Hatzidakis.
Hatzidakis.
Yeah, well,
I think it is.
We never knew who he was before.
Hatzidakis. Listen, there's a lot to discuss about this particular incident. Whether or not you think it's warranted, we had a good discussion last night. I tweeted about it, and the heavens open with opinion, which is what Twitter's all about, of course. Lots of people saying, well, Andy Robertson shouldn't have been in his face in the first place. I kind of disagree with that. I think, don't disagree, he shouldn't have been in his face. I agree with that. I don't think that in any circumstance the officials, whether they mean it or not, should be lifting up limbs that could potentially connect with somebody's face.
I don't think Andy realised.
It's up to you if you think it was deliberate or not. I just don't think it's a good look. I also don't think it leads to anything good.
Well, I think Andy underestimated the linesman. He don't look like a normal linesman, did he?
He looked like RoboCop.
Normally, the linesman looks like Mr. Bean. But this fella looked like a middleweight boxer.
He was a big boy. He looked like he should have been on the pitch in rugby, shouldn't he?
Yeah, he's...
unit.
But Andy's grabbed him and he's gone, get off, hasn't he? But he's elbowed him in the face.
See, I don't know. I watched this back quite a few times. I couldn't even see Andy, grab him. I couldn't see that sort of grab, so maybe I missed it. The only thing I'm thinking is when you flinch and you go like that, right? You kind of flinch. Your elbow doesn't go 90 degrees upwards, in my opinion. And also, if you're flinching that much, you know exactly where Andy is, right? You can hear him because he's obviously shouting in his ear. So, that's a proper... I thought it was with intent, but, you're never really going to know, are you? My thing that has been... Because we've spoken about officials so much so far this season. My thing about this is, the punishments. If the punishments on the pitch were harsher in the first place, then maybe... the players actually wouldn't be doing this. I just don't understand. And I people were saying, well, if you hand out more cards, then people are going to say you're card happy and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, but if it's avoiding situations where the Mitrovic thing, now the Robertson thing, the Bruno thing, if it's avoiding those kind of situations and you get a little bit more law and order on the pitch, I think it's for the good of the game.
I agree 100% with you. I think it started at the World Cup, surrounding the ref. Every time there's a foul, everybody's reaction is to get up, sprint a few yards towards the ref. Then they started surrounding the ref. Then, instead of handing the cards out then, they ended up... Fernandes grabbed the linesman, didn't he? Grabbed his arm. He should have been sent off for that. Or, they should have made something more of it. And then Mitrovic, I don't know what he's thinking this morning. He's got 8 games, and he deserved it. Because we've got to think of what's going on in the future and grassroots football as well. So it's like it was starting to get worse and worse. So I wonder what Mitrovic is thinking. Is Andy Robertson going to get punished for grabbing the linesman? Don't touch the officials. I really wonder how the PGMOL are going to have a look at this incident. I don't think it should be anything near losing his job or anything like that. I just don't think it should be. I just think maybe that there needs to be a real conversation about this at the end of the season
with all the officials getting together and perhaps all the managers, and they just say, look, we've got to try and get hold of this a little bit better, because if that's now, so if that's an extension of how referees are feeling, right? So if that's kind of the next step up in a reaction, whether or not he meant to do it, that could end really badly. You know, if that had been a player that had reacted negatively in response to it, whether or not he meant to catch him in the chin or whatever meant to happen, that's when it starts to really descend into chaos. So maybe a wider conversation needs to be had where you say, right, but how do we get our control back on the pitch? How do we try and warrant better behaviour? And perhaps the managers need to be having a conversation with their players and saying, you just cannot do that. It is not normal for you to be shouting in a referee or a linesperson's ear or in their face or surrounding them. And the next season, maybe these punishments are going to get a lot harsher. So you come anywhere near him, you're going to get a card. You do it again, you get sent off immediately. I don't know. I just think, look, you got to start setting those boundaries a bit more, a bit harsher boundaries. From a manager's point of view, you do have that conversation with your players because, you know, money's tight, especially when you go down the leagues. Money's tight, and you do realise that suspensions are going to cost you at the end of the season. So you do put rules out for the players. Like if you get booked for throwing the ball away, kicking the ball away, arguing with the referee, you get fined by the club. You do get fined. I tell them, if you get booked or sent off for any of those things, if it's a professional foul and you take one for the team, I'll accept it. If it's a tackle, you mistimed tackle, I'll accept that. But if you start throwing punches, kicking the ball away, things that are avoidable, so our yellow card count doesn't add up and suspensions, and it'll cost us points, you do emphasise it with them. So the managers do say that anyway. But I think the linesman it was just sort of a natural, instinctive get off. It was sort of get off. Who do you think you're touching? And it ended up on the end of Andy Robertson's chin with his elbow. Nothing wrong with that either.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.